What's good, guys? It's Ilson4K, and I hope you're enjoying yourselves here on Happy Horror Days. Happy Horror Days, for those of you that don't know, is actually a month-long celebration of horror movies that take place on or around Christmas here on my channel, IllTV, where if it's pop culture, you know it pops up here, and we're keeping things moving along with the Killer Santa theme that our last movie, Christmas Evil, had, but this movie, titled Christmas Bloody Christmas, has a little bit of a unique take on it. Instead of featuring a man who has a psychotic breakdown and assumingly becomes Santa Claus in a murderous spree and goes out all night doing half nice things and half evil things, this movie's a little bit more modern-esque, as it actually features a killer robotic Santa. Yes, a killer robotic Santa, as this is actually a film from 2022 and premiered on Shudder, and actually is a pretty good film for what it is. Now, this robotic Santa, I'm sure you're wondering, is how do you put robotic Santa into a scenario? Where do you put him? Why, one of the greatest places you could ever put a Christmas horror movie that few places ever put it that matches the season perfectly. A shopping mall. More specifically, a closed shopping mall. Yes, this is a movie about a robotic Santa running around a shopping mall, hunting down a bunch of 20-something-year-olds, committing premarital sex and drug use, as you would imagine, and Santa goes and hunts them down one by one as they try and escape, and the gore is awesome. So again, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and stick around as we check out Christmas Bloody Christmas here with IllTV, where if it's pop culture, you know it pops up here. Now, given the basis of this film, I really hope you're not looking for an intricate and deep plot like we had in A Christmas Evil, where we saw one man's descent into absolute insanity. This one's a little more paper thin and not very hard to explain and doesn't take very long. We start off with what shows the old classic Christmas commercials from Once Upon a Time, and then it cuts into a very more modern-esque newscaster talking about how a certain robotic Santa has been recalled by the company because it's reverting back to its original programming from the, wait for this, United States government defense system. Yes, this toy company thought, we should really just skip research and development, R&D, and we'll just ask the government for their latest robot assassin and make them make a toy out of that. Right, yeah. Like, the government would even respond to that, right? Anyway, moving on from there, we meet Tori, the main character, and her co-worker at the record store, Robbie. Tori has a date on Tinder. Robbie says, no, don't go with him. Go with me, because Robbie, of course, has a thing for Tori, and they go off and decide to go out like that. Meanwhile, down the block, I believe Tony and Lana work at a toy store where one of these infamous robotic Santas is actually out and about on display. We see them go off on their own, and this somehow triggers the robotic Santa to go and kill Jay and Lana for having sex, because premarital sex, as we know it, is, of course, the #1 killer of teenagers in all horror movies everywhere, along with marijuana use. Now, eventually it gets to a point where this robotic Santa starts chasing Tori down, and Tori starts noticing it and runs away from her, and tries to explain things to people that, hey, there's a robotic Santa chasing me, but who in their right mind would believe this girl about a robotic Santa? Or anybody, for that matter. Eventually we get to the climax scene where Tori has to fight the robotic Santa, and it is awesome. But along the way, the kills are absolutely fantastic, so I don't mean to gloss over those, but there's a lot of good kills in here, so don't think it's light, because it's not. But that's the plot. There isn't a whole lot to say, so just watch it and enjoy it for what it is. Turn your brain off for a little bit. One thing I gotta say about this film is this. This is a very cliche subject matter, alright? A killer Santa Claus in a holiday horror film. It's been done a million times before, and it's gonna be done a million one times after, but that doesn't mean it's bad. And what's actually really unique about this film is, as cliche as everything about this film sounds on paper, this is its own film, and I mean, it does its own thing. It has its own lane and operates in a way that no other holiday horror film that I've reviewed so far really does. It has like this vengeful youth vibe to it, because everyone in the film is real young, and the shooting style and the lighting elements of everything is like, it's got this gritty kind of like, I don't want to say gross, but this like vibe to it that just matches this element of this creation. And the really cool thing is, you got this robotic Santa, all right? When you say something's robotic, you immediately put into the mind of the viewer that this is an unstoppable killing machine, not just anything will kill it, or you make them think, well, they can just throw a glass of water on it. Let me tell you something. They do a really good job of illustrating that this is a robotic Santa, and that is unstoppable. They throw everything at the Santa, including a cop who unloads his gun into it and absolutely gets murdered in some of the goriest ways you've ever seen. Speaking of which, not to change the subject so drastically, the gore in this film is done wonderfully. It's all practical effects, it's all modern, and they did not hold back at all. Realistically speaking, the kills in this are fantastic. Some of them are pretty innovative, and to be quite honest with you, I didn't find anything really disappointing on that note. The only thing about this film that's a little bit hard for me to get is the fact that it just felt like maybe it could have been more, but given that it's an independent film, maybe they decided to reserve it back a little bit so that way it didn't go too over the top and become hard to take seriously. But it's really an enjoyable film nonetheless. I totally recommend watching this film 100% because it's something unique and different, and it's definitely something that puts you in the holiday mood while being its own thing and not cliche. Again, it just has this like gritty vibe. Like, you really feel that this is a young person's film featuring young people running for their lives. Totally recommend it. Absolutely should watch it. All in all, I really have to say, Christmas Bloody Christmas is a fun, dirty little Christmas movie. I mean, it is just filthy. Like I said, the way it's shot just makes me feel like I need to take a shower after I'm done watching it because it's just really just intense. The way it's done and executed and presented to the audience is just a very fun and enjoyable time while still being enough of a scary movie that we want to see this robotic Santa go on a killing spree and slash and cut everybody up. You know, the dialogue between the characters is pretty well done. Again, this isn't a high-budget film. This was released on Shudder. So we have a nice mid-tier holiday horror movie to get you in the mood if you're looking to watch something that has a killer Santa Claus in it that's a little different from the norm because, like I said, this movie definitely does its own thing and has its own lane, and it's absolutely an enjoyable film that I would recommend you watch this holiday season and maybe every holiday season just to get it right because we do this for Halloween, so why can't we do it for Christmas? But again, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check it out all month long for Happy Horror Days, a month-long celebration of horror movies that take place on or around Christmas here on my channel, Ill TV, where if it's pop culture, you know it pops up here. And make sure you catch me every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here and on my Twitch, streaming AAA horror games or just AAA games in general, because that's what we do. And again, guys, thanks for watching and have a happy holidays. It's Ill TV. You're watching Ill TV, where if it's pop culture, you know it pops up here.